Hello everybody, and welcome back to It's a Wonderful Podcast, where for the first time in a long time, we're not talking about a wonderful movie. Morgan, this movie sucks.
Gasp. This might actually be the first episode where we both don't really like the film. Because of course you famously hate Witchfinder General, and I famously love Witchfinder General. That was a fun episode, wasn't it, everyone?
And
but
you
now,
famously hate Watership Down, and I love Watership Down.
I didn't hate Watership Down at all. But yeah, this Peter Pan, Disney's Peter Pan.
That sentence just irritates me.
1953. It's not great.
It's horrendous.
It's not, well, there's certainly parts of it that are horrendous for not necessarily filmmaking reasons, but for other reasons. Yeah, I don't know how we're going to possibly talk about this without being our usual loving, positive selves.
Well, I'll do my best. So Peter Pan means a hell of a lot to me, like just as a person, because it's my all-time favorite book. J.M. Barrie's work had a big influence on me as a kid, and I own several copies of the book, like, just with me now. And this was the first version of Peter Pan I watched, of course, when you're a young kid, and I'm like, oh, wow, I want to know about Neverland. And then, of course, I went on to watching Hook, which I enjoyed a lot more than this, and eventually the 2003 version. And originally I didn't like the 2003 version because I thought, oh, the Disney one is the correct one, because that's what you think when you're younger.
Yeah, because it's kind of like the first one as well, isn't it?
But like after I read the book and then rewatched the Disney version, boy, did it change.
Well, as for Hook, I really like Hook as well.
Me too.
I think it's great, and I haven't seen the mystical 2003 one that you
Can we
love.
all agree that Pan sucks, though?
Never saw that one.
It's horrendous.
I had no interest in seeing Hugh Jackman dance about as not Captain Hook.
Oh, the guy they got to play Captain Hook in that was so stupid.
Was he as stupid as Captain Hook in Disney's Peter Pan? Because
that's the point. I think he was trying to emulate that, and I know from reading J.M. Barrie's book that is not Captain Hook.
How violent is book Captain Hook then?
He is terrifying.
That's good.
He represents everything that goes against the main story's theme, which is like, at one point children all have to grow up, but, at first they assume, oh, if you grow up, you're going to be nasty. Captain Hook is just a nasty, nasty guy. Like, he's the exact opposite of what you'd want to grow out of, and I think that's a lot to do with how, in the stage production and in some film productions, the guy who plays Captain Hook also ends up playing George Darling.
Well, actually, wasn't the same voice actor used for George Darling and Captain Hook in this film? I believe I saw that.
I believe so, but they didn't adapt the character very well.
Well, regardless of whether they adapted it well or not, I think Hook in this version of Peter Pan Disney's is very obviously villainous, but also typical Disney. He's got a lot of stupidity to him. He reminds me very much of Prince John from Disney's Robin Hood.
Ah, that's a very accurate portrayal, yes.
Who is just the most pathetic creature, but also just really, really one-dimensionally villainous. And that's where the sort of fun comes from Captain Hook in this version. I love it. I love the outfit. I love his outfit. I've always loved his outfit so much. He is, for me, the saving grace of Disney's Peter Pan.
He's at least fun to watch. And for me, the saving grace of it is actually George Darling.
That's a fair point.
It's like, even though he comes off as this really, like, brash, conservative guy, he does have, like, a heart underneath it all. And you get that way more in the 2003 version, because the whole point of Peter Pan for me is it's not to show that adults are all bad, it's just that in a kid's mindset, growing up essentially means that you have to put away childlike things, and they assume that means you have to put away those childlike things forever, which is not the case at all. And it shows that George Darling does still have that kind of childlike heart within him, whereas Captain Hook has the childlike fear in him.
Well, I mean, also Peter Pan as a story. Now, I know from what I understand, I know you've read the book, you love the book, and you probably correct me if I'm wrong on this, but from what I understand, the whole Neverland situation is a complete fiction of these children's imagination.
You get that a little in the book, but it is kind of like a portal fantasy kind of thing. Okay. The whole "it's in the kids' minds" thing, that's more of an interpretation than how I think J.M. Barrie intended it.
Okay, well, fair enough. So my interpretation then would be a sort of reasoning as to why certain Neverland characters in this version are the way they are. Like Hook being so just one-dimensional and silly is often how I feel children view villains. So if they're coming up with a villain in their own mind, they're thinking, well, he's got an evil plan, but ultimately he's terrified of a goddamn crocodile. And he's just like dancing about and screaming after Mr. Smee all the time.
I reckon Captain Hook and Mr. Smee definitely bang each other.
That's an interesting thought. What? I reckon Smee wants it more.
Most likely, yeah.
Smee's actually a pretty decent part of this.
He's usually the same in every version of the story. He's like the comic relief and kind of the rock to Captain Hook.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, one part that really irritates me.
One part irritates you. You don't mean everything without Captain Hook and Mr. Smee, because that's what irritates me.
This is what broke the whole adaptation for me. Who do you think the main character of Peter Pan is?
Well, I know who the main character of Peter Pan is, but for the process of what you're going to say, I will say Peter Pan.
Wendy Darling is the main character of this story.
Yes.
And in the book, like the very first opening, you heard it in my my video just there about Peter Pan, that it's all about like, oh, why can't you remain like this forever? And Wendy to me is a great example of how like a maternal female hero can still like be a hero without being ridiculous. And the movie is so mean-spirited with how it treats Wendy. Like,
yeah. You almost get that kind of straight away.
Like when Peter Pan's saying stuff like, "Oh, girls talk too much." That's not how he is at all in the book. Like,
that's an opening line.
He's a bit childlike and a bit immature, but he's not like a bully.
No, he's
not a YouTube commenter.
It's a really really, really nice stand-up way to start your friendship, whatever, with Wendy, that Peter. Tell her she talks too much. Yeah, well done, Pete. You've done really well there.
And the fact that Disney made on to say that, oh, Wendy agrees, oh yes, girls talk too much. It's such a slap in the face to that character.
It's not just a slap in the face to the character. This entire film, this entire adaptation is a slap in the face to basically women, and most notably Native Americans.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
It's unwatchable.
We said we were going to get a Nolan Dean rant in this episode. Here it fucking is.
Right, well, please go.
Tiger Lily is not a fucking object for Peter Pan to save. Yeah, there's a point in the story where he does save her, but the whole point of Tiger Lily is that she can defend herself. And she's a great character, and she ends up helping Peter, and she has, like, her own little mythology thing back with her people that's really interesting as well. And this movie just makes a complete mockery of it, and it irritates me.
Yeah. Tiger Lily is very much damsel in distress here.
Which is, it's worse than the whole thing with Pan, where they cast Rooney Mara to play her. Which makes no sense.
Okay, that's weird.
Tiger Lily is meant to be a kid and also meant to be Native American, not much older white woman Rooney Mara. Nothing against Rooney Mara, she's great, but
well, that's
bad casting for Tiger Lily.
That's casting people's faults. That's not Rooney Mara's fault.
What's worse is in that they put her in like a big headdress and she looks like she's cosplaying as Mufasa.
Oh no. Well,
it's so bad.
Speaking of white people in unreasonable Native American garb, everyone in Peter Pan decides, oh, let's just spend the next 10 minutes being horrendously racist towards Native Americans, and just
it creates a very shallow view of like that whole culture, and like I get it. Kids might not understand the whole cultural appropriation thing, and they might think, oh, they're this cool little headdress. I want to wear it. I want to be part of them. I want to be part of them because they're my friends. But the way it's executed, like them making Peter Pan chief, like...
Yeah, look, definitely. And I'll go on to, like, what I was saying before about Captain Hook, and if in sort of my interpretation in my own head of it, the children see villains as one-dimensional, so they create the idea of Captain Hook. And, you know, the children are fed certain stories or certain, stories about Native Americans, so they have an image in their head of what a Native American is. And, of course, these kids are what? No older than 12?
Yeah, I'd say even younger than that. The Lost Boys are like at least 8, 9.
Yeah, and obviously, like, John's maybe 10, and
Wendy's probably turning 13, I reckon.
Michael's clearly like 4. But so it's by no means is this saying, oh, I can understand why this was being generalizing Native Americans, because children view everything as black and white before they know really any sort of nuance to anything or any details about anything. But what I am saying is that Disney themselves have sent out a horrendous message to everybody who will watch this film about Native Americans.
What makes the red man red?
Because what do Native Americans do according to Disney? They smoke a lot, they bang drums, and they sneak up on you and are savages. That's it. That's basically it. That's all they do. They're not good for anything else, Nolan, according to Disney's Peter Pan. And
it's a very shallow interpretation of the whole thing.
That is why I say it is unwatchable at times. Like, I was watching Peter Pan, and I could tell the song was coming. So do you know what I did? I didn't watch the song. I instead took the bins out. Because I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to, because it's so uncomfortable. It's what I hate about old Disney films, despite the fact that I do like a lot of them. It's really what I hate, that they just do this sort of thing, got away with it at the time, and then children even nowadays are just, watching these things and just thinking their first thought of a Native American after watching Peter Pan is that, rather than just, a pleasant human being with his own, with their own traditions and their own way of life. No, we'll just do this, and call them red men, because that's correct.
And that brings me on to another point that I really hate about this movie. The music is so boring.
Oh, there's no good song. There's a memorable song, yeah, but for all the wrong goddamn reasons. But there's no good song. I don't know what's going on.
It has that like really weird old Disney thing of where it's like it was written by a rhyming dictionary.
I love that sometimes though. I think it's in Sleeping Beauty where like there's like a chorus that plays as scenes are editing together where they just sing what's going to happen.
Ugh,
it's really fun.
Like that thing I sent you from the 2003 version, that music has more weight to it and more emotion than anything in this movie. Like you can just listen to that song by itself. It's called Flying.
I mean, what do you make of the flying in this version?
I mean, animation-wise, it looks beautiful, but the song...
it's Disney, you know. It's not. It's going to look like a great animated film. Of course, it is. You can't fault the animators.
Yeah, but I can fault that song because it's so dull and boring and just like it's like someone just. It's not like even like they read Peter Pan. It's like they were in a lesson and a teacher was telling them about Peter Pan and they just scribbled a really half-assed essay about it.
Oh dear. Yeah. Do you know, I thought that too. Like, if I had ever watched this version of Peter Pan before, it was many, 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 many years ago and I'd completely forgotten about it. But I always had in my head that was, you know, the He Can Fly or whatever it's called. Oh no, that's Dumbo though, isn't it? Why am I thinking of Dumbo? I've got them mixed up. He Can Fly's Dumbo. Oh, I thought He Can Fly was Peter Pan. Oh no, that's all wrong.
You Can Fly is Peter Pan. Or like, think of a wonderful thought, any happy little thought.
That's why I was getting confused. He Can Fly's a great song from Dumbo. Oh, well. That's my point that's been null and void there now.
Well, this one's worse. And, you know what? I'm going to talk about something good in this movie, because I do think it has some good in it. The opening is very in line with the book. Besides, and up until Peter Pan shows up, the whole thing with the Darling family, that's pretty much how it was in the book as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. There's no harm being done with all that, really. It's as you'd expect it to be, I think. We all, you know, by the time Peter Pan shows up, we all know that Wendy likes telling stories about Peter Pan. He's sort of obsessed with the idea of Peter Pan. And, then he starts to show up, say, girls don't talk. Or girls talk too much, and it all goes a bit weird from there.
You know what's great about the other story versions of Peter Pan is that she actually stands up to Captain Hook.
Oh, and rather than just like...
In this one, she doesn't. She doesn't do anything.
No, it's all about Peter, this one. It is all about Peter Pan, and as you said before, Wendy is the main character of the story. Sort of puts you off. It sort of puts you off reading Peter Pan, the book, watching this adaptation because it leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah,
because
that's why
of
I
all
always
the
watch the
racism and
2003
all
one.
the sexism.
Even Hook, which has nothing to do with the original J.M. Barrie story, it's more a tribute to it, has more in common with the actual theme of Peter Pan than this thing does.
Yeah, don't, you know, grow up at your own pace, which is essentially, at least my interpretation of what Peter Pan is trying to say. Hook does that wonderfully because, you know, Hook is about embracing who you were and embracing who you were when you were younger. Peter Pan the book presumably, so you say, is, you know, embracing your innocence, but realizing that yes, people do have to grow up to a certain. And yeah, towards the end, I think when the Darlings are back at home, and George Darling comes back into it, I think they have a bit more sort of, you know, a bit more of a messagey scene about, we can remember what we were like when we were young. That's fine. We do have to grow up, but there's nothing wrong with innocence. But then, like, I've got in my head, well, isn't this supposed to be like Peter's deal? Yet none of this seems to happen when Peter's on screen. He just seems to be a kid who just has an adventure with them.
He's a kid playing swords, that's all he is.
Yeah, rather than, you know, instilling this message of keep your childlike wonder for as long as you want.
And you know the best thing about the 2003 version and the book is that they give Peter Pan some actual character growth and some empathy and some heart, and that brings me on to something that the Disney version sort of half did right. It's the whole thing with Tinkerbell.
The jealousy thing?
Yeah, that's in, like, all the other ones. And like, with Tinkerbell, she's always written as that kind of jealous thing, but I've always taken it as she sees that Peter kind of likes Wendy, and that if he ends up liking her more, then he'll end up growing up and then forgetting about her. And of course, a part of childhood innocence is believing in fairies.
Yeah.
And there's this whole thing in the stage adaptation and in the 2003 movie where, you know the scene where Tink sacrifices herself to save Peter?
Yeah.
They bring her back and they encourage the audience to participate by saying, I do believe in fairies. And that's what brings Tinkerbell back, and that's a really great emotional moment for Peter and the whole cast. It's really involved. What do they do in this movie? She dies, she comes back to life, Peter just continues being the same person.
Yeah. Nothing really changes. It's just it's a plot element. Tinkerbell towards the back end of the film is a plot element for Hook and his plan. Towards the start, she's kind of interesting with the whole
she is funny too.
Being jealous things. Yeah. She is one of the more enjoyable aspects of this, along with Hook and Smee, and of course the crocodile, who I love deeply. The crocodile is exceptional.
The crocodile has more personality than most of the cast.
The crocodile's great. I love how every movement is in time with the ticking.
Yeah, that's in everything.
The eyes are genius. I love it.
The crocodile is more frightening in the 2003 one.
Well, that's because it's live action, and you know it's probably a more realistic looking non-cartoon crocodile. How the hell does Captain Hook survive all the time with that goddamn crocodile?
That's the point. He doesn't survive in the book, or in the 2003 one.
He gets eaten, I think 3 times, fully swallowed, yet still manages to pop himself back out of the crocodile's mouth.
It's so dumb.
I want bloody murder from that crocodile.
Well, you get that in 2003 Peter Pan, you get that.
You know, he can bite off a hand. Why can't he actually? It's as though his teeth don't work. I don't think TikTok the crocodile's teeth work. That's my problem.
You think he needs to go to the dentist?
I think he needs to. I think he needs to get some harder teeth. They seem to be made of rubber because they don't do any damage to the man.
What else can I say about this movie?
I don't know.
That doesn't anger me.
I don't like not being so positive. That's why I'm saying things about the crocodile and Captain Hook, stuff I actually enjoy. We've had our rant about the racism. We've talked about the hatred for women that this version of Peter Pan has, for no good reason, despite the fact that a woman is supposed to be the central character and supposed to have done a lot, yet both Wendy and Tiger Lily, and to a certain extent Tinkerbell, are shortchanged.
Mrs. Darling as well.
Mrs. Darling is barely there.
Nana also. I know it's a dog, but like
Nana the dog is weird. Why is the
dog giving the medicine?
Exactly. Why is the dog that involved? Why is the dog wearing a bonnet?
If I gave Chalky directions to do that, it would probably result in death from him swallowing the medicine.
The good thing is that at least the family seem to care about Nana.
You can't show them being cruel to a dog.
George Darling was nearly very cruel to his dog.
But they do have that scene with him and Nana where it does open up some stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
That's the one little moments where I think, maybe that's... I have a feeling maybe J.M. Barrie was like spying inside it and was like, no, this is how you do it. And he only got to do it for a little bit because the Disney staff threw him off. So all those little scenes of Peter Pan that actually work with the story are all J.M. Barrie's doing, and the rest of it is just Disney garbage.
That's a nicer thought. That's a nicer thought that Disney are saying, no, we're doing our thing. And, oh God, I'm going to get all the Star Wars fans on at me.
Oh, God. Okay,
Disney, we'll do our thing. We won't listen to your ideas.
Old Disney has a bit of a problem with that. I think they did a really good job with Alice in Wonderland. They adapted that really well.
Love it.
But Alice in Wonderland's more of a minimalistic kind of story. So it's kind of hard to adapt that poorly. Well, actually, no, it's not very hard to adapt it poorly.
And it also...
just ask Tim Burton.
It's a perfect story for animation.
It is, and I don't know, why did they miss the mark on Peter Pan? I think they were so intent on making Peter Pan like a Disney prince that they completely missed the whole point of his character.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Peter and Wendy are not a fucking couple. I cannot stress that enough. Peter likes Wendy because she reminds him of his mother.
Oh. See, you wouldn't have got that from watching this.
No.
I didn't get that.
You would have got that from watching the 2003 version, watching Hook, or reading the book.
I'm trying to think what other Disney films came around at this sort of time. I think Cinderella was 1951.
Cinderella's very good.
That's only a couple of years after, and I think maybe like the next one after that was maybe Lady and the Tramp.
Also pretty underrated.
So it makes you sort of wonder why something like Peter Pan. Do you just think they had not done racism for a bit and just wanted to again?
Ugh, more or less. I mean, like, it seems to me that this is a problem I have when it comes to Disney adapting stuff. They tend to think they can tell the story better than the original author.
Oh God, we are starting to sound like Star Wars fans.
Yeah, but it's not. I'm not gonna go like to Disney and say, "Oh, I demand you change this." Like, the movie happened; it exists. I've still got the book. I've still got the other adaptations of Peter Pan that I love. So I'm not gonna be writing to Disney, harassing them about Peter Pan, or even getting to the stage Star Wars: The Last Jedi haters are getting to, where it's like, I have told my wife she cannot buy me a copy of The Last Jedi. That's not real. That's real. Like, that's something I just saw on Twitter this morning.
I know, and
it's... I hate coming off as this cliche, but
You are a cliche. You're a
walking
cliche. It really
rubs me the wrong way when you're adapting something. Fair enough if you're going to make changes. Like that happens all the time. That happened with Harry Potter. That happens with so many books. But
everything.
Keep the feel, the original tone, the original message of the original story. Like, I actually think The Last Jedi does that. It also does that, but it evolves the story.
Yeah,
this detracts it.
Yeah, that appears to be the main issue with Disney's Peter Pan, and is therefore rightly cannot be compared to other Disney adaptations a la Star Wars, because
It's not an adaptation.
if you look, I know, but if you look at the Disney Star Wars films, they keep the same ideas that every other Star Wars film has had, which can, perhaps be to a fault sometimes. Certainly not in the case with The Last Jedi, though, because I love it.
Moments where Disney have adapted stories well. Alice in Wonderland, we already mentioned.
Yeah.
The Chronicles of Narnia.
Was that a Disney?
Yeah. Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe was a Disney adaptation.
Oh.
Mind you, that's got a lot of Christian undertones in it, so that's probably why Disney adapted it well. The Little Mermaid, I think they did pretty well.
I think it's been years since I've watched The Little Mermaid.
If you watch The Little Mermaid as a John Hughes Disney movie, it's actually kind of fun.
I don't like the message in The Little Mermaid, though. People shouldn't have to change.
Yeah, I get that, but
I don't like it. I don't like a lot of messages in Disney films, Nolan. I don't like them.
I know, but let's go back to Peter Pan for a second. Yeah. Even though I hate talking about it because it makes me unhappy.
You picked it. We have to talk about it.
Where do you think Shrek would have improved this?
That's again. You've brought it in really inorganically. I'm not impressed with the reference in this time.
I'm desperate.
Is Peter Pan in Shrek? I feel like Peter Pan's in Shrek. I feel like Tinkerbell's definitely in Shrek.
There's definitely fairies in Shrek, so...
Oh, he must be. I feel like he must be. Somewhere. Shrek 2, my guess would be.
Yeah.
Everyone's in... Captain Hook is. There you go. Captain Hook plays the piano in Shrek 2. Boom. Done. There's your reference.
Even... Actually, there's... we spoke about Once Upon a Time on the last episode. There's a really interesting take they have on Peter Pan that is in line with the book, but it's also completely different from the book. This is the kind of adaptation I would like. Yeah. They make Peter Pan the villain.
Oh, okay. How?
And you think about it, it kind of works. Peter Pan snatches kids away from their home and takes them to a place where they can be young forever. It's kind of like the Boogeyman.
That's a fair point.
It's, it sounds dumb, but it's very compelling and actually very heartfelt and more in line with J.M. Barrie's work than the actual Disney adaptation.
Here's a question for you. Is Neverland heaven?
I've heard a couple theories on that.
Any that are worthwhile?
I feel like Neverland is a product of someone's imagination, a child's imagination, but an actual place. Maybe Neverland is just a normal island where pirates just do job, but a kid sees it as something different.
That's fair.
Kind of like if a kid goes to a farm and adult sees a farm as, oh, it's work and everything, a kid will look at that and think, oh, look at all the places I can explore to. That tree over there is alive. It's like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Never tell your kids what happens at a farm. They'll learn for themselves. Just like never tell your kids that Neverland doesn't exist, because one day they'll find out for themselves.
Frankie Boyle has a really funny take on Neverland.
You and your love of Frankie Boyle is absurd. You do realise that, don't you?
I know.
He's a funny comedian, I'll grant you that. He's a funny comedian, but I think you only like him because he's from Glasgow.
Well, yeah, but one thing he said about Peter Pan was he has a theory that all the Lost Boys were actually souls of abortions.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Sure explains Captain Hook.
Oh, no. Oh, see, that is typical of that man, to say something like that. Oh, that's bad. Oh, no.
It's really bad, but I couldn't help laughing at
everyone. Oh, no.
It just goes to show many people can interpret Peter Pan differently.
Yeah.
Unless you work for Disney, where you interpret it wrong and you should stop.
Wrong and you should stop. You are sounding like a Star Wars fan.
And also, I hear Disney want to do Peter Pan Begins with Channing Tatum playing Peter Pan.
What? What?
Please don't do that.
Where's that? What?
I heard rumors of that ages ago, and it
Peter
sounded
Pan
awful.
Begins.
With Channing Tatum playing it, which sounds weird.
Could we just go on to Peter Pan Begins, which is an absolutely dreadful title?
It's not much better than Pan.
Oh, they're all... Just call... Oh, I don't know. Peter Pan Begins.
Peter Pan. It's a fine, clean title.
Again, though, that would suggest that Peter Pan is going to be the lead again.
Ugh.
Which, as we've already been over, shouldn't be happening.
If any, do you own the Peter Pan book?
I own the Peter Pan book. Yeah, I do own it. I've never read it.
Please read it.
I know it's not long, is it?
No, not really. It's quite a short story. It's a kid's book. It's not going to be very long.
Well, Harry Potter's a quote-unquote kid's book. Look at the hell of Order of the Phoenix.
True, I'll give you that. But I would argue that Order of the Phoenix is more a YA book than a kid's book.
Okay, well, yeah.
Which
fair.
there is a difference. I keep reminding, I have to remind people that there's a difference between kid and YA.
Well, yeah, that's just like saying there's a difference between a child and a young adult. That's all there is. Of course there is. In non-book terms.
I feel like Raoul probably loves this movie.
I don't.
Raoul, I reckon, probably sings "You Can Fly" at the top of his lungs every morning.
I'm glad
in
you
the
said
shower.
I'm glad you at least said "You Can Fly," and not the other one. No, I don't reckon he likes this because I don't think people in good conscience could.
I
not
feel
just
like you can only like this if you're watching it passively.
look.
And I hate those kind of movies.
Look, okay, yeah. Everything that isn't racist and sexist in Peter Pan is perfectly enjoyable. It just so happens that there's a lot of that, which just makes me not want to watch it again. It just makes me not want to watch it again.
You know what you should do? Go. You know that website that Molly told us about? Our good friend Molly. She said CEX. They have the Peter Pan 2003 Blu-ray there for like £3. Buy that, watch that, and you'll feel happy about the character.
I'll just watch Hook. I'm happy with Hook.
But if you want like an actual good adaptation of the Peter Pan story, then 2003 is the way to go.
Fair enough. There's your recommendation, everyone.
I feel like we've said all we have to say about this.
I mean, it's not a long film anyway. People get the story of Peter Pan. The Peter Pan picks kids up. He goes to Neverland. They have an adventure. They defeat Captain Hook. They act a bit racist with a load of Native Americans, and they all go home for tea. There's the story.
I wonder what they were having for tea. Probably crumpets.
I'd expect so. It was. When's it set? Definitely
like
Victorian.
World War II era.
Is it really? Is it that late?
Or the time it came out. I don't know.
I don't know. I'll have to check that.
But a time when like marionette parties were a thing.
Well, I must say there's some like really sort of high quality posh English phrases used in this version of Peter Pan, mainly by John Darling.
Every time that I see the Darling house, I feel like I've walked into my very conservative uncle's house.
John, there's nothing wrong with the house. I quite like the design of the house. It's a nice old school house. John Darling definitely at some point, as a 9-10-year-old, says, "Good heavens!" Definitely he says that.
Just bludgeon me with a boulder right now, please. Do you see this? I think this movie is the reason, or when the hard to please adaptation critic in me was born.
This movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you do love Peter Pan.
Yep, it's my favorite book.
It might
and
be.
that doesn't mean I haven't read a book since I was 12. Internet, stop telling me that.
Stop hating on people today. God, you're being offensive. You're in this negative mood because you've chosen a film.
There's more to it than that. I saw a lot of stuff on Twitter today that made me very salty.
Oh. Twitter is equal parts wonderful and just the worst.
Yep.
And
my hair is also driving me nuts today.
But yeah, don't be angry because you picked a film that you knew you didn't like, and we've got it second in Animation Month. It is the last Disney film we're doing. That's our two Disney films that we're
I should have
doing
picked
now.
Alice in Wonderland. At least I like that adaptation.
I flat out adore Alice in Wonderland. So I watched Alice in Wonderland on a plane once, and people were looking at me, and I just looked at them back and said, "Yeah, Alice in Wonderland. It's great. Go to sleep."
Now who's being salty?
Well, I'm on a plane. I can afford to be. I have reason to be when I'm on a plane. Yeah, there's not much else we can say about Peter Pan. We've said about we've talked about the stuff that we actually do quite like. Captain Hook is definitely my favourite part of it, and of course, Captain Hook is now the newest inductee into the Mustache Hall of Fame. Yay.
Well done, Captain Hook.
Mustache Hall of Fame.
Can we just edit a picture of Captain Hook here with "Welcome to the Mustache Hall of Fame"?
No, I think we need a jingle for the Mustache Hall of Fame.
Okay, if anyone wants to record us a jingle for the Mustache Hall of Fame.
I feel like, yeah, we need a silly jingle. A silly but appreciative of mustaches jingle for the Mustache Hall of Fame. Captain Hook, our first animated character to be involved in the Mustache Hall of Fame. Well done, sir. Congratulations.
Should we also induct George Darling?
It's not as good as Captain Hook's, though, is it?
Nah, okay, sorry, George Darling, you're runner-up.
It's more of a standard of the time mustache.
Mm-hmm.
George Darling's, Captain Hook's takes some time to groom, I feel.
You know what the sad thing is? Anytime, if we ever review a Tom Selleck movie on this show, that's always going to go into the Mustache Hall of Fame.
Of course it is.
Every Tom Selleck character, we might as well just say that now, every Tom Selleck character in existence goes into the Mustache Hall of Fame.
Well, apart from where he doesn't have a mustache.
I don't know if there is movies that exist without him as a mustache.
I would assume he's rare. But, yeah, I like that. It's been a while since we've had someone in the Mustache Hall of Fame. So, please, everyone welcome Captain Hook, who, does he shave with his hook? No, he doesn't, does he? He has Smee shave for him.
Yeah, but I reckon there's some versions where he takes the hook off and he has like a Swiss Army knife kind of thing.
I like a screwdriver.
The kitchen tools, a whisk. He likes baking.
A whisk.
Creme brulee below torches. You know, those pirates have got to... They probably have some really great food with Captain Hook as their chef.
Oh, Captain, are you barbecuing today? Yes, I've just got my spatula on. There it is.
I'm barbecuing some fresh boys from fucking Neverland.
Is Captain Hook a cannibal?
He probably eats crocodile.
Yeah. Goes both ways, doesn't it?
Or a lot of fish.
Or fish, or a lot of fish.
A lot of like barbecued grilled salmon on the Captain Hook ship.
That's
the Jolly Roger.
It's an impressive meal for a pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about pirate cuisine?
Look, I don't know. You brought it up. I brought up the fact that he'd be barbecuing with his spatula hand.
One trivia thing I noticed, the look of Captain Hook, apparently, that is what inspired Jack Sparrow.
Makes sense.
Which is quite obvious.
Makes a lot of sense.
A cross between Smee's grubby look and Captain Hook's kind of elegance.
Yeah, I mean, if Jack Sparrow came out in that hat, you'd be concerned. What's he doing? Mind you, Pirates of the Caribbean 14 or whatever we're on now.
They stopped after the first one for me.
He's probably going to end up dressed as Captain Hook just to be a bit more on the nose. Who knows?
The first Pirates movie is very good. The rest of them are... Yeah.
I like the second one.
It's fine.
I mean, the third one's long.
The fourth one sucks.
The fourth one's not great, but Penelope Cruz is in it, and that's always a good thing. Love Penelope Cruz. She's great in everything.
And the fifth one is garbage.
I've still not seen the fifth one.
Don't waste your time.
Probs won't waste me time, and I'm not going to waste my time watching Disney's 1953 Peter Pan again either.
Never. Let's burn this one to the you know that's harsh.
Yeah, you are being harsh today.
Let's take the Peter Pan Disney Blu-rays out of the HMV stores and replace them with the books.
Why can't we take them out of all the stores that sell Blu-rays?
Alright, all the stores, we're going to replace them with the books and the 2003 version, and just for fun, an image of Shrek.
Just for fun. Because you always need Shrek in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been doing anything on the internet this week?
No. Well, this is going out...
Lego news and Lego...
Hello.
Shit. It's just a notification on my phone.
Hello. Notifications. Anything can happen on It's a Wonderful Podcast. Hello, everyone. I've not been... Well, this episode's going out so much later than we're recording it anyway, that I may be doing something this week. Who knows? I may have done something. We are backlogging recordings purely because we are both not going to be available to be recording and still want to get plenty of episodes to you.
I'm currently in Cyprus drinking my weight in whiskey.
Nolan, how is Cyprus?
Cyprus is very sunny. I challenged my mum to a cook-off, which we're going to have very soon.
That's nice.
We're both going to make one dish. Our family's not going to know who made which dish, and then we're going to determine who the best chef in the house is.
Sounds riveting. Please create
I think my mum's going to be predictable.
Please create a vlog of that and post it on YouTube.
Ugh, my mum hates being on camera. It's hilarious.
Okay then. There we have it. That's 2 Disneys over and done with.
Goodbye, Disney, until we talk about Alice in Wonderland, and which I'll be enthusiastic about.
What has been the better Disney film that we've talked about of these 2 Disney films?
Snow White.
It's Snow White by about several 100%.
Snow White at least accurately adapts the story. Peter Pan completely misses the point.
And there is also no racism.
There's a lot of sexism.
A lot of sexism.
No racism.
A lot of sexism. You can't get away from sexism. If there's not one, there's the other. With old Disney. Which is a shame. But, is all I have to say. Because, that's great radio.
I'm looking forward to talking about our other 2 choices.
So am I. They're going to be great. This is where it starts getting interesting in Animation Month right now. As next week, we have the wackiest, most wonderful anime. Well, it's not really wacky, but it's just kind of mesmerizing.
It looks very Tron-y. I haven't watched it yet, but it looks very Tron.
See, I have watched it, so I won't say anything. But you will all be able to hear our thoughts on 1973's French/Czechoslovakian animated film Fantastic Planet, or La Planète Sauvage, if you want to go French, which is great, and people should watch it. I'm very much looking forward to talking about that with Nolan. And the week after, we will have Nolan's last pick, Animal Farm.
Also based on a book. Are you sensing a pattern here?
You always base things on a book. That's what you pick. Book adaptations. But no, I think these next 2 are gonna be a nice to end Animation Month off. I think there are going to be more interesting discussions as well. Maybe less fun because of some of the subject matter, but maybe more interesting.
I would also like to point out that I now have a new look. I shaved my mustache off and now have a better, fresher Cypress look.
No one can see that, though.
I know, but you can.
You said that really strangely. I can see it, but nobody else can. Who knows? Do people? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Also, look out for some video essays that will be also dropping while I'm away. I put up 4 yesterday that will potentially be happening. 1 on Ant-Man, 1 on Donnie Darko, 1 on Harry Potter, and 1 on Ready Player One.
Cool. Everybody...
Please do not hate me, Internet, for any of these choices.
Everybody knows Nolan's stories as lessons are wonderful anyway. And if you want to check more of them out, if you are on YouTube right now, it is one of this channel's featured channels. Just click on Nolan's face. Or if you want to check out some of my stuff, click on my face. That's Purple Dom. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, please rate and review, subscribe to the feed, and share the episode around if you liked it. That's always nice. And tell us what you thought. Tell us if you hate Disney's Peter Pan. Well, not hate. Tell us if you are disappointed in Disney's Peter Pan, as well as or as much as Nolan is.
Think of a wonderful thought that isn't this movie.
Yeah, that's about right. You have to think of a wonder. I'll just think about watching any other thing, Peter. I'm happy doing that. Then
I implore all the Last Jedi haters to focus their hate onto this movie. It's actually deserved.
I don't want people to focus hate on anything.
Well, I think all the people who made Disney's Peter Pan are most likely dead, so it won't matter.
Don't be offensive. Probably not. I wouldn't say that. You're being very negative today. How unusual. I love it.
Well, I promised you guys a Nolan Dean rant, so I had to put on this.
You did. You've had a 50-minute long Nolan Dean rant, is what you've had today.
You'll get nice Nolan Dean next week.
Yes, and we will all rejoice for it. What else have I got to say? Just follow the show on Twitter to keep up with what all the new episodes and what we are doing at It's a Wonderful One. Follow me on Twitter at the Purple Dom with a 3 instead of the E in the, because Patrice Evra, and follow Nolan at
Nolan Dean 27 because 27 is my birthday.
Yeah, but you don't have to put a reasoning behind your number. There's a reason behind mine, okay?
27 is also like the best number.
Absolutely, 27 is not the best number. What a silly number to have as the best number. The best numbers are quite clearly 3, 12, and 16.
What about 13?
No, not 13. 3, 12, and 16.
Oh, God.
What?
I think I'm getting it now.
You're not getting it. Why? What do you think it is?
3, because that's in your name.
3, because, yes, Patrice Evra.
12...
Yes.
I don't know.
You see, you have no idea.
16, sweet 16.
No, not even a little bit. So you don't know. So don't assume you do know, because you don't know.
Is it football references?
Obviously.
For God's sake. The World Cup is also going on, in case you
Is the World Cup still going on at the time? Perhaps someone has won the World Cup. I'm checking the schedule. Perhaps someone has won the World Cup.
And Morgan's currently playing football in his dorm.
No,
Please
I'm not.
Stop. You're going to hurt someone.
When is this going up? This is going up. No, the World Cup final is this Sunday.
Who's going to win?
Who's going to win? Someone we don't know who's there, or someone else we don't know who's there?
Who will be caught streaking onto the field trying to steal the trophy? Probably Morgan.
Yeah, because I'm in Russia right now.
It's also quite cold in Russia, so that's probably why they're hosting it there. So you don't get any streakers.
I don't remember the last time I saw a streaker. It's too difficult to streak these days.
Oh, the Rugby Sevens streaker was hilarious.
Oh, well, that's rugby. A generally useless sport. Sorry everyone. Sorry about that.
Who's being negative now?
Sorry. I've offended people. I've alienated people. We're gonna get nobody listening. Yeah, that is it for this episode of It's a Wonderful One, our second in Animation Month. Nolan, any last words before your execution?
Think of a happy thought. And if it's this movie, reevaluate your thoughts. And with that, goodbye.
What a lovely send-off. Reevaluate your life. That's what Nolan's told you to do today. Bye, guys.